Okay. Oh, I'm going to pop some bottles.
Okay, pop it.
Ready?
Give her.
Oh, wait. That was more excited than it needed to be.
We'll have to shave that high note off.
Okay, I'm pouring. Why are we toasting today?
Today we are toasting because we recently had a mayoral race.
A civic election, one might say?
You might.
One might. We have a new mayor. Congratulations to Scott Gillingham.
Congrats.
And congratulations to Brian Bowman for not burning the city down while it was...
Is that what we're toasting?
Under his care. I think we should toast that. The city is still standing, and we have a new mayor. Although not the best voter turnout.
No.
No. A little stat from Twitter. 73% of voters did not vote for the new mayor. 64% of the city didn't vote at all. So shame.
Shame. Shame.
I think that's really, it is shameful. I think it's, everyone I know voted. Everyone that I follow on Twitter voted. So I'm wondering where these other people are.
Yeah. Where are they?
I don't know. Did you want to say something about the importance of voting?
Well, you know, we can only learn from history.
How so?
Well, it turns out, as you may or may not know, the mayor of Jaws was the same mayor as Jaws 2.
So there you go.
Punctuating the importance of voter turnout.
Cue the Jaws theme song.
Da-dun, da-dun.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Paige.
And this is
Made from What's Left.
The Mayoral Madness. The working title of this episode is Mayoral Madness.
It is. Okay, so I heard our new mayor only works at night.
Is that true?
Makes him a night mayor.
All right. I thought I was the one with the jokes.
No, I just bring the bad
I'm
ones.
passing out cocktails. Young Rebecca?
Should we have a toast?
We should have a toast. Did that work?
Did it work? Yeah, we're getting thumbs up.
So we have a few things to talk about today. We have some fun facts about mayors.
And City Hall.
And City Hall. All the city halls.
All of the City Hall. All three.
Should we just address the elephant in the room?
Yes.
The big gingerbread elephant in the room? I love gingerbread and a mimosa.
The most inappropriate pairing I could come up with.
Okay, so Winnipeg's current City Hall
Yes.
went up in what year?
Oh my God, you're going to make me go backwards?
64?
Sure.
Sure. Let's say.
Let's.
We'll correct that later. We'll fact check that as we go. Prior to the current City Hall, there was a big, fanciful City Hall.
Yep.
Affectionately known as the Gingerbread City Hall.
It was.
Hot take. I think it was a bit of a train wreck.
I don't think that's a hot take.
People are very attached to this City Hall, but the people that are attached to it aren't the ones that had to live through it.
True.
Live during its time.
Or during its conception even.
Yeah. So
much scandal.
Do you want to tell us about the Gingerbread City Hall?
I could talk about the building a little
Is it
bit.
on the current site? Is it on the site of the current City Hall, or is it located somewhere else?
It is on. It's near the current site of the original City Hall. So we have had 3 buildings.
Okay.
We sort of glazed over the first one.
Okay. Let's start at the very beginning. Beginning.
Okay.
Before there was a building.
Okay.
I think they met on the second floor of a building on Main Street.
I don't know those facts.
Well, good time to remind listener not to use any of these facts
At your next cocktail party.
No, but there was, before they had a building to meet in, I think that they met either above a furniture store or in an office.
Okay.
Something a little more slapdash.
Yep.
The very first City Hall was?
It opened in 1976.
1976.
Scratch that. 1876.
Mm-hmm.
And it was demolished in 1883. And if you can math, that's 7 years.
They really went through that one. Was it stone construction? Wood construction? Straw, perhaps?
Just a little of this and a little of that slapped together. It was actually a pretty darling little building, but it was built on the infilled Browns Creek, which meant it almost immediately, within months, was suffering from structural issues.
Gotcha.
It was a brick structure. It cost $40,000. Had lovely coining on the corners.
Coining, you say?
Yeah, yeah. Do you like that? And which it, for listener, is an articulation of the corner, texture, color, size, or projection. It had a really nice mansard roof.
Oh, I love a mansard roof.
And but plagued with issues really from the get-go, and so not a lot of people even know that one ever existed. Okay. So then we come to Winnipeg.
So we're taking your word for it.
We are.
You're the only person.
The only one. So this is Winnipeg's second city hall,
aka the gingerbread.
The gingerbread building. They started construction in 1884. Okay. It opened to little or no fanfare in 1886. And part of the reason for that was the process during construction was just rife with problems. So they went through 2-3-ish architects. They went through...
And each one added their own little stamp to the project, it looks like.
They went through a couple builders.
Okay.
And there was all kinds of scandal. I think that the architect whose name is sort of associated with the building is...
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Barber.
Barber?
Charles Barber. So the architect who won the project, ultimately, was a convicted extortionist.
It's kind of on brand.
It's kind of an interesting side hustle to architecture. Yeah, I think he was, like a little bit stabby.
Oh,
it's very interesting. But anyway, so that was the gingerbread city hall. So there were that whole process, the construction of it was had all kinds of issues with the location of the building. So it was pushed back from the street for the same reason that the first city hall was had structural issues. It was
on a creek.
It was on a creek. There were problems with the construction materials. The architect it was actually a design competition. The architect never got paid the award fee. Whoops. Over 2 years, I think, before he saw any money. And I think it's actually because maybe he sued the city to get the money he was owed. So yeah, scandal. But that building served Winnipeg for over 80 years.
So Winnipeggers now will say, like, wow, why was that torn down? It was such a beautiful building. I wish that was our city hall now.
It's romanticized.
Apparently, in addition to structural problems, the rooms were very small.
And there was only, I think, 30 rooms.
They had a problem with heating. I mean, obviously not cooling at that time. But not a practical civic building for a growing city.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Do tell.
Do you know about the iron casket that was placed in the cornerstone of the building?
No.
So when the building was constructed, they placed an iron casket into the cornerstone, which is what we would call a time capsule now.
Oh, time capsule.
So not a body.
Okay. All right. Phew.
But they had all kinds of cool things put into this casket. Currency, all different kinds of currency.
Neat.
That's it. Just currency. No. There was currency put into it, lists of winners from the agricultural fair,
cool.
Just a bunch of random stuff. And then the weirdest thing was they put in a jar of grasshoppers.
What?
Because right before the building was constructed, Manitoba's wheat crop had been decimated by grasshoppers.
Oh.
So they kept a bunch of these grasshoppers and some of the wheat that remained and put those into the cornerstone. And a few years ago, they had opened it up and put it on display in current City Hall.
So can you go see a jar of grasshoppers right now?
You could at the time.
Oh.
I think it's part of the archives.
Okay.
So I have seen the contents. It was pretty cool.
What about the currency?
The currency, I don't know. I imagine the currency stayed part of the collection.
Or is it in the new time capsule?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because I think there is a time capsule in the current City Hall.
Yeah.
This is not part of it, but it's part of the archives. So they had it on display in a sealed case. And
that's amazing.
People could go and look at it and take pictures. And
of all the things to put in a time capsule, jar of crickets.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I think they have like tested the crickets, the grasshoppers. They have DNA tested the grasshoppers. And it's...
Did I call them crickets?
You did call them crickets.
What's the difference?
The sound after my next fun fact versus... So they've tested them, and I guess it's this type of grasshopper that's now basically extinct.
Oh.
But was quite common on the prairies at that time.
That's wild.
That was a fun fact.
It's like sort of putting your nemesis in your time capsule.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Gingerbread City Hall, torn down and replaced with our current modernist structure.
Yes.
Which we talked about a little bit in episode 4. Episode 4.
Yeah.
Wherein we discuss brutalism. Anything you'd like to say about that one?
The new one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very detailed set of notes about the process for choosing the location.
Okay.
So I'm going to read through these notes.
Sure.
And then we're going to decide whether we want to keep this or not.
Okay.
Whether this is interesting or not. I find this very interesting.
You read, I drink.
Okay. So in 1913, a committee was struck recommending the replacement of the Gingerbread City Hall.
1913. So wait. So 50 years later?
50 years later.
Okay. So 1913, the committee was struck. Struck? Formed. The committee was formed?
I don't know.
There was a committee.
It was it was struck. And it was also a design competition.
Okay.
And a Saskatchewan firm actually won the bid. But economic downturn and escalation of the events that led to World War II halted all those plans. So then in 1947, new committee.
It took a bit.
It took a bit. The considered locations for the new City Hall were either where it is now or the northwest corner of Broadway and Osborne. So we've talked about that in past episodes.
Oh boy, yes. I don't think we need to go there.
We're not going to. So 1947, two locations are considered, right?
Okay.
In 1954, a committee was struck suggesting the Main Street site.
Okay.
In 1956, Mayor George Sharp wrote the Premier asking for the gift of the Broadway and Osborne site.
Okay.
And the Premier agreed.
Oh.
In 1957, Juba takes office.
Sure.
And he negotiates with the provincial government to allow citizens to vote on the location.
Oh. I love when things are left to a vote.
Yeah. Crowdsourcing ideas. Slightly over 60% voted Broadway.
Wow.
So in 1958, provincial politics, blah, 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 a panel was struck, including a Toronto architect who said it should be on King Street.
Okay.
The province supported this.
Okay.
In 1959, council unanimously approved the Broadway site.
Oh.
Winnipeg Downtown Business Association went public with their opposition, arguing for the Main Street site.
Of course.
The Broadway site was also opposed by the Canadian Legion, who wanted Memorial Park.
Ah, so we didn't have Memorial Park at that point.
Not yet.
Okay.
In 1960, City Council reaffirmed the choice of Broadway.
Okay.
The province paid the city $800,000 to abandon the Broadway site. What? You literally just said what I wrote in my notes.
What?
City hires the U of M professor John Russell to restudy the location. Mm-hmm. He comes up with 7 different sites. None of them are the Broadway site.
Okay.
The results were 2 recommendations: the St. Paul's College site, which is the north side of Ellis, east of Balmoral.
Okay.
Or the Main Street site.
Back to Main Street.
City Council rejected the recommendation for the St. Paul's site.
Of course.
Approved the second choice.
The original.
The Main Street site.
Yeah, okay.
And then the new complex opens in 1964.
Holy moly.
Isn't that a roller coaster?
It was. I would like to take some of those original voting results and overlay them with the results of the Portage and Main vote.
I mean, there weren't as many Winnipeggers.
No, that's true.
I don't know if that plays in. You can extrapolate the data.
Right.
So the current building that's on the site, of course, we talked about a little bit, but designed in the international style, stressing materials and proportions over ornamentation.
Right.
Because we had kind of been there and done that.
It's a little bit of a stark contrast.
Quite.
From the highly ornamented gingerbread City Hall.
So steel frame, limestone cladding, which came from Garson, Manitoba.
Okay. Shout out to Garson.
Yeah. Glass block, which you would have known because you would have tried to look through it. And the podium that the building sits on is Quebec granite.
Ooh.
The architect was GBR, at the time known as Green Blankstein Russell and Associates. And there's something kind of neat about them. All the founding partners of GBR were University of Manitoba grads.
Well, that's cool.
Isn't it?
That is homegrown project.
Yeah. And so to not bore everyone to death with architectural facts, the last thing I wanted to say is what GBR is also known for, because it kind of positions them at the time.
Okay.
Wildwood Park.
Oh.
Sherry Zadok Synagogue.
Yes.
The U of M Engineering Building.
Okay.
The Defoe Library.
All right.
St. George's Anglican Church. The Norquay Building. Polo Park.
Polo Park.
Polo Park.
Like the original Polo Park, like the open air Polo Park.
I don't know the answer to that question.
But probably.
I think so. And maybe most notably, well, I don't know, those are all pretty notable, but Winnipeg International Airport.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. So that's all the architectural facts I have for you.
That's exciting.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the mayor at the time
Yep.
of the tearing down of the old City Hall
Yep.
and the building of the new City Hall. So the mayor at the time was none other than Stephen Juba.
Yep.
Big favorite of ours.
Friend of the pod.
I can't confirm this. Well, I mean, I could confirm it if I actually took a minute to look. Winnipeg's longest serving mayor, 1957 to 1977.
So that's 20
You can
years.
imagine. He went through at least 2 Cadillacs in that time.
Went through?
Well, he had. When he first entered office, he drove a bright yellow Cadillac.
Wow.
And then at one point, he was driving a lavender Cadillac.
A lavender Cadillac. Either of them convertible?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I did hear a rumor that there was a mayor who parked his Cadillac inside City Hall. So now I'm wondering if that was Juba.
Where inside City Hall?
Like in the basement of City Hall?
Did you
somehow?
Just sort of put it in the freight elevator?
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know the logistics. It's a rumor.
We like rumors.
Spreading rumors. Do you want some Juba fun facts?
I do.
Okay, I have 2 pretty funny Juba stories. So he left school at 15.
Wow.
If you can imagine, which would be like what, grade 10?
7?
Grade 7. How many times
Did
were
you
you
just have
held
5?
back? So Stephen Juba, as a youth, he really liked building things.
Okay.
And so he would build little shacks and structures and different things. So when he was a teen, he built a 1-room house on a vacant lot behind his family's home.
Cool.
And so the idea was that he would use this as like a clubhouse for his like little gang of friends or whatever.
That's amazing.
So this was in the Brooklands area.
Okay.
The municipality ordered him to tear it down or remove it.
What?
What was on a vacant lot? It was on.
Oh.
So he had built this 1-room house on a vacant lot.
I see.
Land not owned by himself. So he was ordered to remove it.
Yeah.
He went out and he found a guy who was renting a place for $6 a month. And he said to this guy, hey, look, are you an idiot? You're giving someone else money. You can rent to own this place. $180, no money down. And all you have to do is pay me $4 a month. So the guy's like, well, actually, that does sound like a pretty good deal. So he signs a contract with Juba, gives him the first month's rent. And Juba says, okay, and you've got 14 hours to get it off this property.
Okay, so he was a landlord.
Apparently.
Who didn't have land.
Right.
Okay.
So the guy actually bought a piece of land and moved this one-room house. And apparently it's had a couple of additions, but it still stands today.
No way.
In the Brooklands area.
Come on.
Apparently so.
We got to make a pilgrimage.
Yeah, we got to go find it.
I'd like to see that. So what year did he build it?
He was a teen.
Yeah.
At the time, so I don't know.
Okay, we should look.
This would be. Was he not the construction
Yep.
foreman for the first Salisbury house?
Yeah.
And that was in the 30s.
Yeah.
So this would be before that.
Late 18 something. Probably.
Maybe.
That's amazing.
1915? 1920? I don't know.
Like he made a thing. He built a thing.
And
it's still kicking around.
Apparently so.
Okay, we're definitely going to have to go find that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's pretty cool. Okay, crazy Stephen Juba story number 2.
Okay.
So later he would go on to open a paint store.
Okay.
And he had a small showroom with some color samples.
Okay.
People would come in and they'd say, okay, I'd like 2 gallons of this color. And he'd go, okay, let me grab that from the back.
Burnt ochre.
Sure.
Probably.
Burnt
umber. I mean.
He would go into the back room.
Yeah.
He would leave the building. He'd run across train tracks and he would buy the paint from a factory and then bring it back as if he had just taken it out of stock.
What a smart cookie.
What a smart cookie. We could do a whole hour of Juba.
Well, and maybe we should.
We could call it the Jubilation. All right. So going with the theme of voted most likely to.
Yeah.
The mayor most likely to get arrested.
Oh, hang on. No, that's an architect I'm thinking of.
I'm going to go with Cornish.
Oh, it has to be.
Has to be Cornish.
He was a son of a gun.
He was a son of a gun. Do you want some Cornish stories?
I do.
Okay. Because I am full of them.
You're full of Cornish stories? Let me have it.
So before he was the mayor of Winnipeg, he was actually the mayor of London, Ontario.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact. Career politician.
Yeah.
While he was out in London, Ontario, he was convicted of assaulting a British commander who had been bragging about having an affair with Cornish's wife. He was convicted and he was fined $8. Oh, for the crime.
What? Could we do like a quick inflation calculator to see what that's like?
We've established that you're bad at math.
Well, we have computers for that. What year? Like roughly?
Oh, I don't know. Before 1872.
Okay. All right. That cost, a basket of goods and services cost $8. Mm-hmm. And what year?
Let's say 1870.
1870. In 2022. You entered 1870. Please enter a year in the range of 1914 to 2022. We're going to have to go with 1914. Well, we know it'll be worse than this. So here we go. 1914. $203 is still really low.
That's still really low.
Yeah. Okay. Assault costs $203 and 60 cents.
Right. So in 1872, Cornish moved to Winnipeg.
Okay.
1873, Winnipeg was incorporated as a city. And
did he have anything to do with that?
He did some negotiation for the provincial government at that time. 1874, he defeated William Luxton in Winnipeg's first mayoral election.
Ha!
But here's the thing. The final tally, Cornish had 383 votes to Luxton's 179 votes.
Okay.
There were only 382 voters eligible to vote in the city at the time.
I know I'm bad at math, but...
But how did he get more votes than there were voters?
Please explain. Corruption?
At the time, there was a little bit of a loophole.
Okay.
That property owners could vote for each piece of property that they owned. Or they could have one vote for each poll.
Oh.
So if you owned property in different parts, you would get a vote in each area.
Ha! Ha!
And he, of course, encouraged his supporters to do this.
Yeah. And he probably had several pieces of property.
Right.
He didn't get a ballot for each one.
Whilst he was mayor, he was arrested for a DUI one night. He was out riding around in his horse and buggy, and he got arrested for a DUI. I don't know, maybe the horse was drunk.
Or he went through a red light camera.
Maybe. He was thrown in jail for the night to sober up. In the morning, he was brought into court. Now, at the time, he was the mayor, but he was also the magistrate. So he stood in front of his own. He stood in front of his own empty bench.
Did he run back and forth between the
basically
defendant's bench and the?
Pretty much. So he pled guilty.
He pled guilty to himself.
He pled guilty to himself. Then he. No, wait, how'd it go? So he stood in front of his own bench.
Yeah.
To plead his crime.
Sorry.
Acting as magistrate, he found himself guilty.
I just punched the mic. Sorry.
So acting as magistrate, he found himself guilty.
Okay.
Fined himself $5.
Less than he was ordered to pay when punching someone.
And also, because he could, he waived the fine. He was a very just man.
Oh my. That seems shady.
It does seem shady. So after his term as Winnipeg's mayor, he took a run at provincial government.
Okay.
Unsuccessfully. And then he took another run at being Winnipeg's mayor.
Oh.
Again, unsuccessfully.
Oh, okay.
So we have, what
Good
do we
job,
have to
Winnipeg.
remember Cornish? We have the Cornish Library.
Yeah. Which will feature in, we're hoping will feature in a future episode about libraries.
Yes.
And
problematic names.
Place names.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's my amazing Cornish story. So he's most likely to get arrested. Most likely to cobble. I'm going to give that to...
a shoemaker?
I'm going to give that to Thomas Ryan.
Go Thomas.
He was the mayor of Winnipeg in 1889, known as the Shoe King.
Nice.
He made a business selling shoes and boots out of the Ryan block, but became the Ryan block at 492 Main Street. He served a 1-year term as mayor, and he was the one who imposed restrictions for Sunday shopping.
No way.
Ironically, yeah.
Okay, do you want an enthusiastic aside about Thomas?
Sure.
If you had to guess. Mm-hmm. No shame here.
All right.
How many Winnipeg mayors were named Thomas?
8.
Oh, 6.
6, really?
I thought that was a lot.
That is.
She goes and guesses 8.
I was trying to figure out how many of them were Virgos. I'm not sure that matters.
Anyway, carry on.
Most likely to end up with famous neighbors.
Ooh. Bowman.
William Nassau Kennedy.
Oh, Nassau and Kennedy.
William Nassau Kennedy.
Yeah.
I mean, he could not have more streets named after him. He served as Winnipeg's mayor from 1875 to 1876.
Okay.
He is buried in Highgate Cemetery in London.
Oh.
Opposite Karl Marx.
Oh, yes.
How cool is that?
Very cool.
Famous neighbors.
I like it.
But also there's other things.
What?
Like Deacon.
Yeah.
Thomas Ross Deacon, Winnipeg mayor from 1913 to 1914. He campaigned on developing a new source of water for the city from Shoal Lake.
Wow.
And so Deacon's
Corner.
Deacon's Basin, all the Deacons. It's not necessarily a street, but it's a thing.
It's a thing. I like it.
That would be my fun fact about Thomas Deacon.
Nice.
So most likely to be in a pickle.
In a pickle. Who?
David J. Dyson.
Tell me about David J. Dyson.
I have 3 things to tell you about David J. Dyson as I hold up 4 fingers. His family owned the Dyson and Gibson Spice Mills, makers of 7-day pickles.
What?
I don't even know what 7-day pickles are, but I want them. Like, does it take them 7 days to make?
Or is it 7 days to eat?
Is it a pickle that would last you 7 days?
Or is it
like a jawbreaker?
An all-day sucker? A 7-day pickle?
I don't know. Is it a religion like the Seventh-day Adventists?
Oh, you never know.
We don't know. David Dyson is our shortest serving mayor.
As in stature or period of time?
Period of time.
Oh, okay.
I have no comment about his height. He was elected in 1917. He lost his seat in a recount to Frederick Davidson 3 days later.
What?
He was Winnipeg's mayor for 3 days. Third fun fact, he is the great-great-grandfather of CNN's Jake Tapper.
Come on.
It's a fact. All right. Most likely to be a time traveler.
Okay, I'm going to have to go with Webb.
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Webb.
He looks like he stepped out of, my office.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, he looks a lot like Roger Sterling from Mad Men.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a celebrity that he looks like. He held office from 1930 to 1934. Webb's fun fact, he was born at sea.
What?
He was born on a ship between England and India. He later went on to work as a deckhand on a whaling ship.
That's so cool. It's
Right?
in his blood.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was a whaler and then he was a mayor. Kind of cool. John Queen, most likely to drop the soap.
Oh.
Oof. 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 Served as Winnipeg's mayor from 1938 to 1942. He was a leader of the general strike in 1919. And he actually went to jail for it and served a 1-year term in prison.
Crazy.
But then, that was 1919, 1920. 18 years later, all was forgiven and he was made Winnipeg's mayor.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Although when you think about it, not really. Because it seems like right now you can get away with pretty much anything and still hold office.
I have something interesting about Mr. Queen.
Okay.
So while he was mayor, we had a visit from the royal family.
Right.
Do you know this story?
Well, the beaver?
No.
Okay.
But I want to hear about that. I want to hear about that. So, a CBC reporter was narrating during the visit, particularly when they arrived. And
oh, I do know this story, but please continue because it's hilarious.
Okay. So, it was the visit of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth.
Right.
And at the time, our prime minister was Mackenzie King.
Right.
And our mayor was John Queen.
Right.
And so,
much like a podcast, this was all happening on the radio.
On
with
the radio.
No visual clues.
Yeah. So I have this amazing thing that I want you to read for our listener.
Okay. I'm up for the challenge.
Are you?
I
Okay.
am.
All right. Okay. So it's obviously that. And unfortunately, it's got those little OBJs things in it. But
All right. So this is from the royal visit in 1939.
Yeah.
I have to put on my vest like old-timey radio voice.
See?
Here comes the royal family now. The automobile has stopped. Oh, there's the king. He's stepping out, followed by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, nattily attired in a silver coat. Mr. King is now shaking hands with the king and introducing Mr. Queen to the king and queen, and then Mrs. Queen to the queen and king. They are now proceeding up the steps to the well-decorated city hall. The king and Mr. King, together with the queen, being escorted by Mrs. Queen. The king has now stopped and said something to Mrs. Queen and goes to Mrs. Queen and the queen and Mr. King and the queen laughing jovially. The king leaves Mr. King and goes to Mrs. Queen and the queen and Mr. King follow behind. And there is my audition tape for CBC.
Can you imagine the laughs in that studio while that happened?
Who's on first?
So there we have it.
All right. Most likely to bowl you over.
Is this hat related?
No.
Oh.
But this will be a name that you would know.
Mayor Brian Bowman.
You're not going to eke a pun out of this one.
I just did.
Robert A. Steen.
Okay.
So we know him as a Winnipeg mayor. Community Center and part of Riverview Health are named after him. But also, the winner of the Manitoba Marathon is awarded the Mayor Robert Steen Memorial Trophy.
Oh.
And top pins over average bowler at the Manitoba Master Bantam Junior 5-pin
That's oddly specific.
tournament. is also awarded the Mayor Robert Steen Memorial Trophy.
But only if you're wearing brown and over 5 feet tall.
So you do get, either way, if you win the Manitoba Marathon or 5-pin bowling, you get a Robert Steen Memorial Trophy.
Neato.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yep.
It's a fun fact.
Yeah. He likes other people's shoes.
Does he?
No, I mean bowling.
He likes to wear other people's
Yeah.
shoes. It didn't say in any of my research if he was a big bowler and or runner,
Oh,
which makes me think he wasn't either, but
maybe just a way to honor him.
right. A bowling and running enthusiast.
I mean, who doesn't like bowling? I can't get behind running, but who doesn't like bowling?
Most likely to fight like a girl.
Susan Thompson.
Susan A. Thompson. I mean, it had to be. Winnipeg's first female mayor
Yep. And only?
so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only female mayor.
Yeah. We can say only.
Winnipeg's first openly female mayor.
Yes, openly.
She served from 1992 to 1998.
Yeah.
In 2014, she gave a speech at a Chamber of Commerce meeting.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was
Why?
the state of the city or if it was just one of their meetings about Winnipeg's future. And one of her suggestions was laser pyramids at Portage and Main.
I'm behind. I could get behind that.
Right?
Laser pyramids?
Laser pyramids at Portage and Main. That would be like
What?
a fun thing for Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Bring people together.
How do we get that going?
Do you want the water park or do you want the laser pyramids?
Both? Why do not mutually exclusive?
Why do we have to pick?
Yeah.
The administration building
Yes.
at City Hall
Yeah.
is now named the Susan A. Thompson
Oh, I didn't even know that.
building.
Ah. Was it named that when you were there?
No,
Oh, okay, so that's newer.
I think that's newer. I think
Okay.
that's since.
Right.
Glenn Murray, who was just taking a run for this recent
Yeah.
stab at being mayor. He was our mayor from 1998 to 2004. He was the first openly gay mayor of a large North American city and big on infrastructure, from what I can remember.
North American city?
Yeah. Like not
Openly
just like
gay.
Yes.
That's the difference.
That's the caveat.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. I moved away from Winnipeg in 1998 and returned in 2008.
Oh, you missed him.
I missed the whole thing.
Oh. Boo.
But good on him.
I was here.
He used to shop at a store on Court and then I
Okay,
used to work
I
at.
held down the fort.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
But big on infrastructure. Lots of projects,
Yeah.
I think, happened during his time.
Yeah.
The Esplanade Real
It did.
on it. So you did mention that you did hint that I had worked at City Hall for a spell.
I hinted. No, you mentioned outright several times. Anyway, sorry. Yes.
I did work in the mayor's office when Sam Cates was the mayor.
And?
I can speak to no scandal.
Oh. What, because there wasn't any or because you are bound by rules?
Or I'm clueless.
Oh.
No, when I was there, I don't think that anything would have happened right under my nose,
Okay.
obviously. But I had a great time working for him.
Yeah?
But I loved working for him. I had so much fun. I spent a lot of time with him.
Do you want
I-
to say what you did?
I was working in his communications department.
And communicating?
I was communicating. I wrote a lot of his speeches and speaking notes.
Oh.
And then when he went to deliver said speeches and speaking notes and cut ribbons and stick shovels in things, I would go along as a handler, I guess you could say. So we spent a lot of time chit-chatting about Winnipeg and music. He's a big music fan. So we had some good times.
This is all hot goss. You said you didn't have any.
It is all hot goss.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. We had some good times. I remember when I first started there. So because I had moved away and moved back, I had missed some of the juicier stories. And I remember we were the first team to put the Winnipeg Mayor's office on Twitter.
Ooh.
So that was weeks and weeks and weeks of discussion on how are we going to go about this. And
Yeah.
we wanted to make it clear that it was tweets from the mayor's office and not tweets from the mayor.
Okay.
Because we didn't want people to think that he was just sitting around tweeting all day because he wasn't. But I remember getting a tweet right in the beginning. Someone said something about him kicking a kid in the face.
Oh.
And I remember saying to my director of communications, can you believe this? And she's like, oh, no, that one actually happened.
Oh.
Did you ever hear about that? There was a
Sam Keats kicked a kid in the face?
Well, it was an accident. But it was
How do
during...
you accidentally kick a kid in the face?
He was playing soccer with kids. And he's very competitive. And he's very athletic.
Young Rebecca's turning red.
Poor young Rebecca. This is well before her time.
Sam Keats was a child kicker.
Well, see, I shouldn't have brought it up.
I guess we all have our thing.
Yeah. But I had a super fun time working in City Hall.
Yeah.
I had keys to a secret passageway.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you because you alluded.
I cannot divulge the location.
Can you say what it connects?
In the event of emergency, it would be a way to get the mayor out of the building.
Oh, a secret escape hatch.
A secret.
Are we allowed to know where it goes?
Hatch. No.
Dang.
But I did have the keys. I had the last desk before council chambers, so that was always fun.
Oh, so you must have seen...
I saw the parade of everyone coming through and back and forth.
Traipsing.
Yeah, they would traipse.
Yeah.
And I did get to go from the concert hall parking garage to City Hall. There's a tunnel that connects the two.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we know it's not the concert hall.
It is not the concert hall. Have you ever been in that tunnel?
If I was going to escape hatch out of City Hall, that's where I'd want to go, though.
Across Main?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it doesn't go that way.
Oh, dang it.
It doesn't launch out of the roof. The basement of City Hall is a little bit interesting.
Oh, do tell.
There is a press room down there.
Okay.
A room for the reporters. And they recently renovated it. But for a long time, it was kind of gross. Like a press office.
Just gross because it's a basement or
just gross because I think it was original to the 60s and had never been renovated or redecorated. I think it had mops in it at one point.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, we wouldn't want to have mops in our basements. Speaking of scandals.
And the only scandal that I was involved in at City Hall was one day I was wearing very bright yellow tights. Mustard yellow tights. And that was the one day that someone took a picture of me coming down the big staircase at City Hall behind the mayor. And it was on the front page of the Sun.
But why is that a scandal?
I was told not to wear such loud tights after that.
Too lively for the mayor's day?
It was too lively for the very sedate mayor's office.
Yellow pants.
Yeah, we did some fun things when Colecus was closing.
Mm-hmm.
We had started the honorary street naming program around that time. So we named a portion of Main Street after Mary Colecus.
Oh, honorary naming, meaning sections of the street have sort of...
An honorary name.
Yeah. So like a ceremonial sort of
it
name?
doesn't change the street address.
Right.
But the street is designated as honorary. We have honorary Israel Asper Way. I think that there is...
Oh, I thought that was actually the street name there.
Maybe it is now.
Well,
maybe that one is.
Don't take my word for it, though.
But they do expire. Oh. The honorary namings do expire.
Do they put up signage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Blue half circle signs.
Yeah, okay. I've seen these.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had named a section of Main Street Mary Colecus Way.
Okay.
And we took a city bus, the mayor, and all the city councillors that could come. We took a city bus to Colecus. We picked up lunch. Okay. And then we took it back and we ate it in the mayor's office.
Oh, cool.
So it was kind of neat.
Yeah.
He paid for lunch for everyone.
What did you eat?
I think I probably had a hot dog.
And was your hair straightened? What were you wearing?
I was not wearing yellow tights, I'll tell you that.
You learned. We learned from our mistakes.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. It was fun times at the mayor's office. And then I worked there right up until the end of his term when he decided not to run again. I was escorted from the building.
No ascension for you.
None.
No acclamation for you.
None. Clean out your desk.
Yeah. Aw.
But it was super.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you want to go from here?
Cue the music.
No. I have a since we last spoke.
Oh.
So remember we were discussing the corner
oh no
of Wellington and Academy
and how it only crosses Academy twice, not three times.
But
okay, does it?
That's not, yeah.
Okay.
Neither here nor there.
Okay. Since we last spoke.
Okay, so you know about our legislation, salvation,
Yep.
and so on. So I have
Insubordination.
Yeah, I have a new name
Okay.
for the corner of Academy and Wellington Crescent, starting in the northwest corner. Salvation. 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 Do you approve?
I like it.
Okay. I can't believe we missed that last time we talked.
Salvation times 4.
I even had to look up whether there's salvation in Judaism. I did my homework. It's not the same, but it's there. The concept's there.
I can't believe you went with salvation instead of education.
Well, but it's a Catholic school.
True.
Salvation.
Ish.
Not to be judgy. Okay. What else? What else have we got?
I don't know. Those are all my fun facts.
Cue the music. Cue the music.